Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Chaotic Pubcast. This is episode 3 of season 2. We're glad to have you here. I'm here with Jay
So, oh,
and Z,
What's up, guys?
and the first thing we want to mention tonight is last week we came in and told you guys all about our new Patreon, and I'm glad to say that we've had 3 awesome patrons already subscribe. Thank you to Sam, thank you to Lazy Boy Luis, and thank you to Noobish for Life. You guys are great, and we appreciate your support for the podcast. We would ask everyone else. We know that you can't always monetarily support your favorite podcast, but you can share it with your friends, and that would do more for us than words could ever imagine. So thank you guys so much for your support. Today, we got a slew of things to talk about, but first, Zach, I think you got some news for us that you heard this week.
Yeah, the big news for me was seeing Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer drop. That was cool. And then watching the internet controversy of how Sora's shoes aren't clown shoes anymore. I felt like I was...
At least we're not
Go
talking
for it.
about Will Smith clapping or slapping Chris Rock anymore.
You beat me to the joke. I was about to say. I was about to fucking say, like, it's. I feel like it's the week of the slap all over again, you know. And, funny story about that. My Wi-Fi router's name is now "Keep Your Wi-Fi Out Your Mouth." I think the controversy over it's stupid, but the memes are hilarious.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
But I personally loved what I saw of the trailer. I know a lot of people are a little butthurt about the direction they've gone with the art design, but whatever. And the big thing I saw that got leaked was the FF9 remake, which, Ryan, that's your favorite Final Fantasy.
That is my favorite Final Fantasy.
And
I just want to play the card game in it. Like, I just want to play the remastered card game.
Was it Gwent? No, Gwent is Witcher.
No, that's Witcher. It's oh shit, what's it called? It starts with a... Hey, I know it's a little early in the episode. You probably haven't woke up yet. But can you get that for me?
Sure, man.
Thanks, brother.
It's never not funny.
I just forget that we can hear it now.
Tetramaster.
Yeah, that's the thing. We can like totally hear it. Like, using this new software has been a while. That especially have last week having the Senpai Kohai boys on here.
Oh, God.
Oh my god. The only thing I don't like about it, I don't think there's a mute feature.
Oh my god! Oh my god! So much gold, like, because I am like so impressed with myself because I'm notorious for not taking things out of episodes, and I was able to get that hour and 40 minutes of recording down to 49 minutes.
I don't know how you did it,
buddy. And if you've listened to that 48-minute episode, whew, more power to you. And if you liked what you heard, the full hour and a half will be up on the Patreon.
The whole hour and a half.
I won't listen to it, but you're welcome to.
I love those boys.
I lived it. I lived it, so I don't need to re-listen to it.
Yeah, good people, man. We were glad to have them on.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really the only big news I saw. I'm really like the one picture I saw of it looked really cool. Zidane looked amazing. But
yeah.
You know what's gonna happen? It'll get remade, and then the community, like all of FF9, is like, I don't like it because of this, and then just ruin their entire experience because of one fucking thing. And then I don't know. I've been in a very surly, salty mood in the past few days. Like, not for any reason, but like I've had several comments from my friends, like, you are sassy these days. What's going on? I'm like, nothing. I don't know. But it's been a good week. Yeah.
It's the season.
Season change. Yeah, it's got to be the season change.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Did you do anything else cool this week?
Played a fuck ton of Chrono Cross.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I stream bits of it. I was planning to kind of just make it a mainstream thing, but what happens to me when I stream a game and I only make it streaming, I will never beat it because either like another game comes. So now with that game, I play it in my free time, and if I decide to stream what section I'm on, it's a 20-year-old game, and if like I don't think anybody's going to be, but the game has its problems. It's 30 FPS, but it's a PlayStation game. Who gives a shit? And there's screen tears. Who gives a shit? And if people don't know by now that I'm not the most critical person when it comes to sweating small stuff like that, then you don't know me that well. But I personally have been enjoying it. I just am glad I get to play the game not on an emulator, like personally. So, and fiddle with it, and then deal with like 10 frames per second and everything. So
I was about to say, who you telling? I'm a Sonic fan.
Yeah,
I put up with a little. I have put up with a lot of things being a Sonic fan over the
You-
last few
speaking
years.
of being a Sonic fan,
Yeah.
your time got kind of overran last week when you really wanted to talk about going and seeing Sonic 2, but now you've seen it what,
I saw
twice?
it twice.
I-
Saw it
So what's your
twice in the whole
thoughts?
weekend. I mean, if that doesn't say anything that I saw it twice, it just says that I'm a fanboy. Let's be honest.
yeah,
But
it looks good, man. Like it
it's
looks good.
actually aside, like fanboyism aside, it was really really good. Like I had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah, I'm
There
excited to
was
see it.
two things that I had against it, but I won't say what it is.
Oh, okay. Is it spoilery or?
One of them. Well, I mean, not really. Not really.
I mean, you
It's
could.
just
It won't bug me if you mention it. It's a Sonic movie. It's not like it's a Game of
hey,
Thrones episode.
I put some respect on that. All
Hey,
right,
dude, I'm gonna go take myself on a date to see it. So,
that's what I did.
and if I'm
No one
taking
else.
myself, yeah, nobody
Nope.
else will want to see it with me. You know, it's,
No, hey, nobody else is taking me on a date, so I took myself out.
you make your way to Utah, I will take you on a date.
Oh, well, I just might. I just
I
might.
might, yeah, I might make that trip too as well.
You got
Just
to
to
you got a
come do
place.
some hot ones.
I want to get wine and dined.
We AJ and I talked about that. So if you guys ever make it down here, we'll totally do a day where you
Oh,
come
hell
over
yeah,
and
dude!
yeah.
Chaotic Pubcast edition.
Yeah, we talked about dude, it'd be cool. And then so funny thing is AJ didn't know that you guys didn't live in Utah.
Oh,
He thought that you guys were like
He thought just everyone lived in Utah.
yeah, apparently. Well, he didn't know that we met through wow. He thought that we knew each other in real life.
Oh, like in person.
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
at first. And so no, I told him like no, Ryan's in Arkansas and Jay's in Texas. And he's like, "Oh, fuck, I didn't know that." And in his AJ way, "Oh, I didn't know that." Love that
but
guy.
yeah, the Sonic movie I would say is really good. I think the two things that I mean, I guess I could say one of them is really cringy. Floss dancing.
What
It
was
happens
Oh,
again.
floss dancing.
Floss
Oh,
dancing.
gotcha. Yeah.
And the second one was they made him. I don't know if y'all remember the human character from the first one. Y'all saw the first one, right?
Yeah, the Westworld guy, right? The main
Yeah,
guy.
Cyclops. The guy that played Cyclops.
Oh, he wasn't in Westworld, was
I
he?
haven't seen it.
Was he in Westworld?
You haven't seen it, Ryan?
You're talking about the main. You're talking
Yeah,
about
the
the
main
main
character.
guy.
Yeah, the main character. Well, not Sonic, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yes, he was in Westworld.
so him.
But no, I haven't seen the first one.
What? Okay, well, in the second one, they gave him and Sonic this father son dynamic, and I was just like, nah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I was like, nah, that ain't it. But I mean, literally everything else about the movie was amazing.
I mean, and he has to understand this too, that he's literally there just to be in the
Just
movie.
Yeah, literally.
Just so they can have a human,
Yeah.
like conversing with Sonic.
Yeah, it's don't go for it, Jay.
I don't know. I was just gonna say. I think at first that's maybe why they brought on him and like a couple humans, just so they maybe thought that Sonic alone wouldn't sell the movie. But I feel like maybe now after the second one, I hope that they know that that they don't need humans anymore. Besides Eggman, obviously, who hopefully is not his last movie.
Yeah. Well, they
Jim
bring
Carrey.
Tails and Nux into the fold. There's enough characters for them to work with that have been expositioned and introduced in a proper way. So yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that sucks is that if this is actually Jim Carrey's last movie, that there will be it's gonna be weird with no Eggman.
It seems like he really loves the role. Like, obviously, I don't know what happens at the end of the second one, but like, I just from like his attitude and like interviews, like it seems like he genuinely loves doing this role.
So I don't know. Hopefully, maybe he just doesn't do any other movies. I mean, that'd be really selfish for me, but that's what
I particularly like Jim Carrey because he's not only because he's like the real world 3-eyed raven, but I have a problem with Hollywood culture. I just think he's taken himself out of the equation with Hollywood culture, and I get it. I just want to like I watched the interview where he's just like, I just want to paint. I'm like, okay, man, you do you. I made a tweet today that was just like, I'm just actually quite content existing and owning my coffee pot, and like I just want a peaceful life. So I totally empathize with him, but it does suck, Jay. Like he's so freaking talented. It's like
yeah. Oh, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if he wants to retire, then that's his own mental health he's got to worry about. But so
yeah.
But anywho,
so seeing Sonic 2 was actually what you did last week we just didn't get to talk about it because we had such a heavy crew
Yeah,
last week.
I don't think any of us
So
got to
how?
talk
What
besides
about
Steven.
right? So how was this week? What did you do this week?
I went over to Dallas to visit my friend Rich, whom y'all know. Hung out with him last 2 days. I keep forgetting that today's Saturday, to be honest, because my weekend started on Thursday.
We usually record on Thursdays too. Yeah.
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 So, and I keep forgetting that today's Saturday only. But anyways, so yeah, I did that. Played some board games with Rich over the weekend, which played some Dark Souls board game. I don't know if y'all.
Oh yeah. So that actually kind of leads us into
I see
our
what you did
topic for the
there.
week,
I see what you
which
did
is
there.
board games. Hey, we're nothing if not smooth, right?
That was a great segue right there.
You done set me up.
I know, right?
So that is our topic for the week. We're going to talk about some board games. I think all of us enjoy them to different extents, but we all enjoy them a lot. So we'll start with that, Jay. Tell us about this Dark Souls board game. Obviously, you've been playing Elden Ring, no life in for weeks now. How was it playing it in a board game fashion?
I have not been no laughing it as much as I want to, sadly, But so we didn't know how to play it. I've owned that game, I don't know, since like October last year, and I never even touched it until yesterday. And I was just like, screw it, let's figure out how to play it. And so we did, and then it's pretty fun, I would say. Kind of emulates, I would say, the game of it. The only thing is, I mean, it's a co-op game, so it's one to four players. So everybody gets a turn, everybody gets a roll. They got different traits and stuff. So the way it works is you don't know what encounter you're gonna get, like what's gonna be behind the door when you get to the next room. You flip it, it reveals it. You see how many enemies spawn and whatever. But the way it works is, it's as soon as you enter the room, the enemies attack. There's one person that has the aggro, and that person's gonna get attacked first. Mm-hmm. Like by all, let's say there's 3 or 4. Let's say there's 3 enemies in the room. All 3 enemies are gonna attack that person first. And then he
sounds like Dark Souls.
Yeah. And then that person goes. He attacks one enemy, and that's the turn. And then the enemies go again. All enemies go again. And then it's the next person's turn. So it's one player goes, enemies go. One player goes, enemies go.
I have a question. Does it also simulate the people watching your stream telling you how to fucking play the game because everybody's a fucking expert at the game? Those fucking tryhards. Because I don't know what it is about fucking Souls players. Yeah.
They love
you should gaming. They love backseat gaming.
They love it.
I hate it.
They love that shit. Me too.
I don't stream. I don't stream Elden Ring for that specific reason. It's just like, shut up and let me enjoy the game.
I haven't played this Dark Souls board game that you played yesterday. But I have to imagine it does emulate that if it plays the way you say, where like one person goes and then enemies go. I can just imagine the rest of the players around the table are like, "Bro, you should have."
That would have been such a meta thing if they intentionally did that.
Well, I mean, look, we introduced it to 2 people. We had to teach it. We had to teach it to 2 people, and Rich and I were kind of like, that's not what I would have done, but sure.
Exactly.
You can't help it. It's in your blood at that point. It's like that's why it's so.
So it is a co-op. So it is a co-op.
Yeah, it's co-op. It's co-op.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and I guess the way it emulates it, because whenever you do clear the room, you do get souls. That's your currency. And if you die, you drop your souls in that area, and you have to go get them. Otherwise, they so it's pretty cool. Oh, also, if one person dies, the whole team wipes.
So they emulate how fucking hard it is too.
Yep. So I liked it. I had a lot of fun. I would be down to play with you guys on like TTS or something.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, we can try that.
I would love to do TTS.
So
write that down.
So you wouldn't put that in like your top board games, or is it now your favorite?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I definitely do enjoy it. I do like it.
What did you say your favorite board game is?
Oof. I really like Imperial Assault, even though I've hardly played it.
Yeah, we were supposed to play that. When I came down, we didn't get a chance.
No, I don't think that would have been impossible. There was no time, no place.
True.
And the amount of time it takes to just set up the game is insane.
Yeah.
How would you?
Yeah, I have a few games like that.
How would you compare it to like a game like Gloomhaven? Have you ever played Gloomhaven at all?
Can't say that I have.
That's kind of what I was going to ask too, because it does sound similar.
Yeah. And I played Gloomhaven once, but I really enjoyed it when I played it. So
I haven't played Gloomhaven proper board game style. They did make it into uh, a Steam version,
Mhm.
and it plays really good, and I love it. Now I have like a kind of a spin-off of Gloomhaven. It's called Jaws of the Lion, and it comes with like 4 characters, and it has like 12 missions or something. So it's a smaller box, but it's the same game. It's just different missions, and it has different characters, and you can use those characters in the base Gloomhaven. But I didn't want to buy a $200 box for a game that I didn't know if I was going to really even like. And I played through a few missions of that, and it's really fun, man. Like it's a good game. It's just like he said about Imperial Assault. It's just a lot of setup.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Like, is there like a and that was for me, not to like segue. Well, I guess I am segueing this. For me, when I was younger, that was always a turnoff for me. Is learn the act of learning the board game is always the least fun, obviously. But that was a big deterrent for me growing up as a kid to learn because, like, why would I play a board game when I got video games? Plus, I'm in
Yeah.
Utah, and the thing about Utah culture is the LDS religion. They love board games. Every house you go to as a kid, they have a room dedicated to board games. Every family does,
Yep.
Wow,
and
that's pretty cool.
it's cool. It's really cool, and it's a shame that I didn't play more as a kid, but like, I didn't start really getting into board games personally, until I started, I would say college, and we had nothing to do in our shitty podunk town that we were going to college in, and, so we played board games and we played poker and board games and poker. That was our life, and I just remember, like, the learning process for me was always tough.
I'm gonna call this man out on air. Jay don't know how to play poker, man. It kills me. I want to play poker every time we hang out.
"Oh, Jay, let's teach you some
Um,
poker, bro."
yeah, I don't know how to play poker. I've never done it. I've never been asked to play. Never.
That's my goal for 2022. Gonna get you to play poker because I love playing poker, man.
We could TTS that stuff. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Ooh,
yeah, and it'll be even more fun in TTS, I think. Personally.
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll talk about
it,
that
I'll be
another
down.
day.
I'll be down. I mean, I don't mind
uh,
learning.
and I think a large portion of this towards the end is going to be devoted to tabletop simulator, as we keep mentioning it.
Mhm.
What's your favorite board game? See,
I mean, I guess it counts it like, and I know where I'm trying to like steer away from, but of course it's going to be D&D, but I don't know if that counts as a board game officially, does it?
no, it's a tabletop game.
RPG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But if I had like a favorite one growing up, and this is just pure nostalgia. Like, I grew up and I just remember when my family was whole and we'd play Life together. Uh
Yeah.
like, I know it's superfluous and dumb, but this is just like one of the few good memories I had when my family like when it wasn't like a broken home. and and I had a great childhood, by the way, everyone. My mom just divorced, and like we every week we get together and play Life, and I would never go the college route, and it was just fun. So like looking back thoughtfully, yeah, I love that game. The game that we played a little bit at Alcon, Ryan, what's it called?
Betrayal.
Not the Trail. Uh, though it's the that has to do with Arabian lore that we played,
Arabian
Ryan.
Night.
oh yeah,
Arabian
it's
Nights. Yeah,
Tales of the Arabian Nights sitting right here beside me.
yeah. I really
That
I
game
love
is a
that game.
blast.
I fucking love that game, and I'll play it anytime. So when you brought it to Alcon, I was like, yeah. And
Hmm.
then yeah, I think those two would, at the moment, at the time of recording are my favorite. But
So Game of Life, there's a Steam version of it too, and me and Sam, like when we get bored, we'll get together and play that. But I totally forgot I bought this, but I was actually organizing all my board games earlier today because I was moving. I had them just like everywhere because I have so many, and we finally found a place to like consolidate them in a closet to and like organize them. And so I was moving stuff around, and I totally forgot I bought this new version of the Game of Life, and it's called the Game of Life Quarter Life Crisis,
Oh,
and it just has like all these terrible things that can happen to you, like that really happen to you in real life. You get soul crushing debt from like college loans and stuff like that. You get like laid off.
The axle on your car breaks and you have to drop
An axle on your
$1,000 out of nowhere to drop it, even though that was vacation money, you know. That never happens.
Yeah.
That would be fun to play.
I'm sorry, Z.
It's all right. No, we have plenty of money. It was just like, ouch.
Don't worry. We have plenty of money.
Targeted ad.
Don't worry, we have plenty of money. Don't.
Do not send help. Do not worry about us. Please
help me.
They're about to evict me.
So yeah, I would like to play that version because mine's still in the packaging. I've never opened it. I don't remember buying it.
Interesting. Go for it, Jay.
Oh no, you know which one I want to play and kind of reminded me of it is Betrayal Legacies.
Yeah,
I've heard that it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so this is like, so we get together a lot. We play Betrayal at House on the Hill or Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. Super fun, super easy to learn.
That's one of my. I would say that's one of my favorite ones for sure.
Yeah, I think that's why so many people. It's easy to get people to play it because it's not super difficult.
And it's easy to teach. It's very, very easy to teach.
Yeah, you just kind of get it as you go along, and then every game's different, right? You get a haunt, like you go through and you're all together, you're working together, you're all teaching each other, you're all talking to each other, helping, and then one person becomes a traitor, and then the game changes. And it's different every time.
That game that we played with, wait, that's what we played at. Isn't that what we played at Alcon as well on the last few days? I love that game.
Yeah, there's a blast. I think I don't know if we played. No, we did play House on the Hill.
Yeah, we played. Well, the Alcon we played the Baldur's.
You weren't there.
Betrayal. Oh, maybe.
You weren't there. You showed up for a guest appearance. We're gonna have to do an episode about Alcon eventually, like a fully dedicated episode, because
I don't think so.
We keep cryptically bringing it up, and like with all the shit that happened during it, like it was either like
not.
We don't have to, like, of course, but it was either it was like super intense shit happening, or we were just sitting downstairs playing board games. It was so
no in between.
Like I guarantee security was just so like on edge while we were just sitting there playing that game. Like, whoop.
They were. That's why they kicked us out the next year. You weren't there.
I wasn't there for that one.
Neither was I.
Hell of a story though.
Fun times. No, what I was gonna say, yes, Betrayal Legacy, all the Legacy games are really cool because they make it, instead of like a one session and you're done, hey, game's over, to actually being more of a campaign style board game. So I know with Betrayal Legacy, you're basically creating the story of what happened in this house over 10 sessions. So everything you do builds into the next session to the next session, and by the end of the 10 sessions you have the horror that happened at the house on the hill.
Yeah,
based on what you did, and then all the games you play after that have to do with what you guys did.
That's cool.
That's pretty good. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, so you're like starting like and I could totally be butchering this, but I think you start in like the early 1800s, and then like you're like the next family that moves in, and the next family that moves in, or whatever. Like,
so you build the lore essentially too. That's actually really cool. I would love to play.
And then they have Pandemic Legacy. And I'm not even going to pretend to speak on that one. I know how to play Pandemic. I don't know what the legacy function of it is, but basically the same thing. It makes it into a campaign of stuff happening.
I do like Pandemic.
Risk,
yeah,
and then Risk Legacy. So you talked about growing up on Game of Life. I grew up on Risk. My family, my grandparents, my aunt and uncle, everybody, like everyone's a big Risk player. I was told, and this could be hearsay, I was told my mother was sitting around a table playing Risk whenever she went into labor with me, and that could be part of why that game is like integral to my life.
I plus one you on that, Ryan, because like me and Face Kicks, we have a bitter rivalry in Risk.
Me and my childhood friend Jared.
Yeah, and it's always a book to Australia. But then to solve that problem, to solve the Australia problem, we ended up getting Lord of the Rings Risk.
Lord of the Rings, I have it.
I love it. It's my favorite version. And then we got Game of Thrones Risk, and then that was our new. Yeah,
I didn't get that one. I have Halo Risk.
Love it.
I have The Walking Dead Risk. I have Risk 2088 or something, and that's my favorite one. It's like a future one. You got to like get to the moon and stuff. and then yeah, Lord of the Rings. And
Dude.
then I have Risk Legacy,
So,
but I never play it in the Legacy fashion. I just always play it as regular Risk.
so I've
I
never
would like to do
played.
the Legacy.
I've never played Risk. What's it about? What's it about?
World
Oh,
domination.
World domination.
yeah.
Basically, you control a color. Like you have your own little army, and it's a map of the world, and you're trying to take over different continents and countries, and then eventually the world. But the more you control, the more troops you get and stuff like that, and so you're trying to beat out your opponents, and so you're like fighting them country to country to take a country and then take a continent or whatever. It's really fun.
Go ahead.
We'll play it. We'll play it.
I'll be down.
It's
Yeah.
easy. It's super easy
Dude,
to
it's
learn.
super easy to
But
learn, and you'll have the most fun, Jay. Like it
That's
is.
cool.
just set aside like a solid 4 hours though.
And the fun thing about it, Jay, is
I'm
like
addicted.
the unofficial rules is you could do like alliances and everything, and then
Yeah.
but the thing is there's no like binding contract really, so they could totally betray you at any time. And
That's the funnest part
Chaos.
it
about
is
Chaos.
so great. It is like the most fun that I've had, almost
Would you say-
losing all my friends.
Would you say it's like Civilization?
Yeah.
Kinda, but less complicated. I mean, you're
Okay.
not having to manage like what's going on in a country
Okay.
or anything. You're mainly just like defending your borders while trying to beat out people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Okay.
you have to like leave at least one piece in every country that you occupy, and so your army gets small. If you do a giant campaign, like if you start in Australia, like we all did, and then start campaigning, because the strategy there is to like hoard all of your army in Australia. When you're good to go, leave one in Australia and just make the push. And
Yeah,
yeah,
That sounds like fun.
it's so fun.
yeah, no, it's really fun. My favorite board game currently, like growing up, that's what it was, Risk. Currently it would have to be what you said, and that's this Tales of the Arabian Nights, and I'll show it to you for visual reference. I brought a few in
I
here
think it's
just
funny how
for this
you
reason.
had it set as a background and it's not even showing it.
I just love.
So this is Tales of the Arabian Nights. It is made by Z-Man, who makes a lot of games. They made Pandemic. They made all kinds of crazy stuff that like none of them are related.
Is there a TTS version of that?
There is. I'm glad you
Oh
asked.
my god!
We'll play it.
I'm glad you asked.
I did. Jay, did you ever play with me in TTS?
Never
Okay.
played it. I want to. Yeah, I'll make it sound like it's a lot of fun.
It's actually easier in TTS because for the encounters, there's this little box that I got that you just type in the number of the encounter and you click it and it pops up what it is instead of having to read through like a 40 page or 400 page book.
I love TTS.
Yeah. So what it is, it's not PvP, like you're not playing against each other, but you're not playing with each other. You're just kind of doing your own thing all together. And it's like it's in the period of like Aladdin and Sinbad, and you can play as Scheherazade or Aladdin or Sinbad or any of those characters. And basically it's almost like a choose your own adventure type thing, but with like a shit ton of RNG. So you'll like you start with an initial quest, and it might be like try to find a treasure, or like or you've been washed out to sea to start the game, like you got to make it back to Baghdad or something like that. But along the way, as you stop in like different little cities or whatever, you have encounters, and you'll roll some dice, and you'll have these random encounters, and it might be an evil Ifrit or a djinn or just like a beggar on the street or something like that. And then you get the choice of what to do to this person based on like a matrix, and it could be like I pray, or I kill them, or attack them, or try to cast some magic on them, or whatever. And then you'll roll what's called a destiny die, and it'll either give you a plus or a minus to whatever you were going to do. And then you'll read the result of that encounter, and usually it's either going to end really good for you or really bad for you. And if it's good, you could get a treasure, you could get a companion or something like that. If it's bad, you could straight up just die and be out of the game, or you might get afflicted with some disease, you might become crippled,
Might swap genders.
Swap genders, yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's one of those games, like you're not really playing against each other. Like we will we will play, and you'll play to a certain objective, like 10 of these points and 10 of these points, and like we'll hit that, and like we'll just keep playing because like it's just fun. Like it's just a bunch of laughs, and like you just never know what crazy shit's gonna happen in the game. It's impossible to find. My friend finally found me a copy on eBay because it was out of print, and I don't know what he paid for it, but I heard that they're bringing it back in print, so you might could get your hands on a copy.
Okay.
But it's a great game.
I'll definitely try and get my hands on one.
Yeah.
We're about. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we at 31 minutes since we started recording?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we actually haven't fucked up.
Wow.
Now that you said that.
Yeah. So yeah, but so with that, I think we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about some more of our favorite board games and board games that we want to try and things like that. So stick with us and wait around to hear from this word from our totally real sponsor.
Totally real.
Are you ready to go on a family-friendly adventure?
You betcha!
Well, then try out the new Chaotic Pub board game. It's fun for the whole family.
Yay!
Survive Camus' Mint Chocolate Chip Mountain.
Gross!
Traverse Lazy's River. Lose a turn and wait for Flavo to get back from the gym.
What?
Catch Silence secondhand high. 5 if you roll a 5 or less.
Do I have to?
Ride Nuvish's log in the Whiskey Waterfall.
Is that even legal?
Chaotic Pubcast board game is not responsible for any depression, alcoholism, starting a podcast, sitting alone in Discord every night and waiting for your friends, creating events but only having 2 attendees. If you purchase this game expecting to make friends, remember, you have no friends. If you want friends, subscribe to our Patreon.
Coming soon to a Toys R Us near you.
I'm out of lines.
Hey, welcome back to the Pubcast. Glad to have you back. I hope you enjoyed that word from our sponsor. They were absolutely amazing. Glad to have them on.
Generic
Always.
compliments.
Friendly gesture.
Friendly gesture to our friendly sponsors.
So getting back into the swing of things, last we left off, we were talking about some of our all-time favorite board games. But I know like we've all played like quite a handful of games, right? Like I have a closet with like 100 games in it right now. What's some of the other ones you guys really like? I mean, we're on a roll here.
Dude, I actually really like a game called Dead of Winter. I don't know if y'all played it.
Yeah, I think me and you've talked about that one before.
And I want to play the expansion, so it's so bad. Because if you've played the original one, right? It's essentially it's a zombie surviving game. But you're in a colony. You got to go out to draw resources and stuff. But the expansion has a village versus village essentially. So it's something up to 5 players, I think. But that one can go up to like 10 players, and it just can be like it's insane.
Yeah, I like games with a lot of players, but it is very, very hard. Like if you can get a group of 10 or not, that's why like it's almost the same thing like back during lockdown, where if you got 10 people in Among Us, it was the most amazing experience you'd ever have. But like if you get like a solid amount of like 8 or 9 people in a game like that, it's just chaos and pure bliss, in my opinion. But
You know, I haven't played Dead of Winter. I have another one here, and it's like literally in that room right over there, but I can't remember what the hell it's called. But it's basically the same idea. You're kind of are you playing co-op?
Yeah.
Yeah, same in this one, and you have to like fight like different hordes, and then you have like a scavenging phase where you gotta like scavenge for different supplies and food and medicine and stuff like that. It's really fun. I've always wanted to play Dead of Winter. It's just one of those ones. It's like it's on my list to get, and I always forget whenever I get to a store.
do you guys like have like a posse of like board game friends that live near you guys, or I don't have enough friends like in real life that would be down for board game nights, or at least I haven't. It's never been brought up with my social circle.
I
So
have
with
I
mine,
do have
oh, go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say I do have a group of friends that we don't get out together as often. Ever since COVID hit, we kind of like stopped really getting together, but we did used to get together every Saturday night and play a board game.
And you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so with my little friend group, it started just kind of this ragtag little group of like, oh, I know so and so through so and so, and we kind of got together and we were just playing board games, even if it was just like dumb party games and stuff. And then we started playing some like more intense board games, like we'd play stuff like Betrayal or whatever, like not intense, but like more intense than just like Monopoly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and uh, and then that group became a D&D group. We all started playing D&D together. And then like if we had an off week, like somebody was out of town or we couldn't play or whatever, the rest of us would get together and we'd just go play board games. We started experimenting with more. But like Jay said, when COVID hit, D&D kind of dissolved, right? Like we stopped getting together for D&D. And so as COVID kind of waned, we couldn't get the whole group back together for D&D on like a normal campaign, so we just started getting back together and playing board games. And so that's when I started buying up more board games that I wanted to try and stuff, because I knew, hey, I'll probably have a Saturday coming up soon where we get together and play some.
Yeah. Did any of you guys have that one friend that cheats in the group?
Oh no, that's me.
Oh, so if you don't have it, then you are the person. It's kind of like that.
I'm not, but I always like I win like 90% of the time, so they just claim that I'm the cheater of the group. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what to tell them.
Face
You
kicks.
said there's a one person that's always a cheater? Or what was the
yeah,
question?
well, yeah,
Sorry,
did you have a friend that like you will consistently had to keep an eye on because you knew if he or she had the opportunity or that they would cheat? And I have one.
You do?
Face kicks. It's face kicks.
Really?
He seems like a cheater.
I don't have a friend like that, but we have that one friend that we don't invite. Or if he says he's
That's even worse.
Well, I mean, it's because we want him to play, but whenever he plays and we're explaining the game, he's never listening, and it drives me nuts.
Oh,
Like that friend.
I have one of those too.
And then like when then we're like, are you listening? He's like, yeah. And then we start playing the game. He's like, all right, what am I supposed to do? Every time.
I think everybody has one of those too.
Is it me?
Or they just get frustrated. Yeah.
Is it me, guys?
and then every group has like that one person who, like, the moment stuff isn't going their way, just gets super frustrated, super angry, and it's like, I'm never playing this game again. This game's broken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I also have that friend.
Like
if he dies or if he's bad at the game is bad.
Yeah. I'm not a hyper competitive person, but like it's hilarious to me to be in the group and then seeing like people like fucking wig out and everything and table flip, and I'm just sitting there, you know, like eating cookies, like like I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny to me when people rage quit.
I'm the same way, man. I don't care if I win or lose, man. I'm there to have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna win, but I'm there to have a good time.
Probably gonna win. Let's be real. I'm gonna win.
He can't beat me in Marvel though.
Marvel.
Another game that's like very accessible, like you can find it at every Target or Walmart nationwide, is once again Visual Reference. 7 Wonders. It is a blast, and the reason I like it is it's so easy, or not easy, but it's very minimal to learn. Like, and once you play it through one time, you can become like a master at it, right?
Yeah.
And there's tons of expansions for it, and that's the game where, like, if I was gonna go play with, you know, a couple people who play board games, a couple people who don't play board games, that's probably what I'd bring with me, just because you can get it down pretty quick, and it's fun, and there's a bit of like strategizing mechanics that go along with it, but also you could just totally screw around and end up winning just by accidentally playing right.
Yeah. It's the board game equivalent of button mashing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like when, Jay, you play Guilty Gear and then somebody can just push buttons and then win.
Yep, that was me.
Right.
Oh god.
But for now, I will ask you guys if you got any final thoughts before we head out.
I do think we got quite a bit to talk about, and it's funny when you decide these topics, you don't really know what's going to be said or what line of thought you're going to have. Like, I didn't freaking know that I would bring back my old 8-year-old memories of playing Life with my family. Like, I don't know. But it did take every ounce of strength of me to not talk too much about D&D. Like, I'm not a super fan of D&D. I just love playing it. But
Yeah.
I guess we're saving that episode for Matt Mercer. So
Yeah. Once we get him on here.
yeah, we got to get Eric
All the
Voss and Matt
D&D
Mercer
content.
on. But no, I had a really good time talking about this. It was a really fun subject, and it actually makes me want to really dive into TTS after this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
we might can.
I mean,
I'm
Um,
down. I mean,
maybe.
I know
maybe
we
if you were a
touched.
Patreon sub, you'd be able to join.
I helped produce the sub. Are you? You're not talking to him?
No, I'm not talking to you. No.
I was like, I'm one of the producers.
All right. Simmer down there.
I'm
Not
now
everything's about you, Z. Okay,
I
Jeez.
thought it was. My mom said I could be whatever I want.
And I want it to be about me.
Obviously we talked probably about a dozen games or more tonight. I love board games. I haven't even scratched the surface of all the
Oh,
board
yeah.
games that are out there in my life, right? So I'm sure that if you're listening, you're thinking right now like, no, you guys didn't even talk about my favorite board game. Well, dude, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Instagram, tell us what your favorite board game is, and we'll try it out. We'll give it a
Yeah.
shot if we can. We'll at least play it on Tabletop Simulator, and maybe you can join in with us and
If you're
teach
a
us how to
Patreon
play.
sub.
And as Jay keeps mentioning, the more we add to the podcast, the more we try to get done and try to give you guys the best quality and the best content. Those prices keep rising on the stuff that we do, so every little bit of support helps. If you can support us, join our Patreon. There's a $2 option on there. There's a $10 option. Whatever you feel generous enough to help us out with.
I mean, honestly, like what you said at the beginning, if just tell a friend. That's probably way better than you subbing.
Yeah. Honestly, that's very true. That's kind of our ask for the week, man. If you could just share this with two of your closest friends, not even this episode, just your favorite episode, whichever one you like the most, and just tell about us. Tag us in the post. We'll come say hey to your friend too. We don't care. We have no shame.
Tell us on Twitter.
One thing I will, just because it will commit us to it, is we are going to get merch. So
yep,
that's our next line of business. So Chaotic Pubcast t-shirts are coming down the pipeline. Now we have to make them, boys.
Shit. Yeah. You can still edit it out.
Hey, you're right. Damn it.
We'll never be in it for the money, but we would like to break even.
Yeah, exactly.
True. Yeah.
First world problems, third world ugly.
All right. Well, with that, guys, give us a shout on all our socials. You know what they are, at Chaotic Pubcast on everything. If you have any great ideas, shoot them our way. We'd love to hear what you guys want to hear about. But other than that, have a great day, have a great evening, have a great afternoon, and make sure you watch us on YouTube. Yes. That's where the best is. You can see our faces, and you can see Z glitch out every few seconds at the end of this episode.
No, you can. I'm editing that shit out.
we think seeing our faces is a selling point, but it's actually like not a selling point. The opposite. Yeah.
Well, you can see the covers of these board games I picked up and showed you.
And you can see Ryan's curtain. He worked so hard on that.
I did. Pow.
Oh, man. This is a great episode, guys. Thank you.
We'll see you next time. We'll see you next week. We're going to have another guest on next week. See you later.
Bye.